Hello everyone! We are just about to get our Heaven's Ward title card, and I am so hyped to be able to re-experience the story with all of you. I once again just want to thank everyone that's been coming by on stream and hanging out with me. It really does mean the world. If you're new, become an espresso shot today and subscribe here on YouTube or follow me on Kick, where the emotes I've made are currently available for use. And with that said, let's go over the main story we got through last weekend. Minfilia requests that we check up on Ida following Mimbrida's passing, and it's while we're with her that we spot a whole horde of Dravanians flying past us. We're called back to the Rising Stones by Alphino, who tells us there's grave news from Ishgard. We're shown Iceheart destroying the ward protecting the Bridge of Faith that leads into Ishgard proper, allowing the dragons to make their advance. Arriving at Camp Dragonhead with Alphino, we meet with Sir Emric, who requests help from the Scions and the Eorzean Alliance. Alphino doesn't neglect to mention that the request may not be met without a measure of scrutiny from the Alliance leaders. Emric introduces us to Estinian, the Azure Dragoon, and explains that they have Nidhogg's eye within the vault, and that should Nidhogg succeed in retrieving it, he would be entirely unstoppable. We learn that Estinian is the sole person within Ishgard allowed to harness the power of dragons, and that it's due to this that he can hear Nidhogg's roar, so he is well aware that the Dravanians have been called to war to claim the Eye back. We gather with the Scions to report on all that Emric has said. They agree to enter into the war in aid of Ishgard, and Alphino asks us to come with him for the meeting with the Alliance leaders. Alphino pleads the case for Ishgard and states that the Braves will be joining the defense of the city. He asks if there are any objections, to which the Alliance leaders say no. Merylwib states she'll pray for the Braves' success, incensing Alphino as he venomously states that he was hoping the Alliance would offer more than just prayers. Each Alliance leader states they can offer no more than a handful of men, nothing more, as they must defend their own borders first. As the meeting ends, Reborn asks Nanamo if they could send more flames to aid Ishgard and give the brass blades more positions within Ul'dah. Nanamo, who had been in her own world, says that he may do as he will. The odd behavior prompts Reborn to ask her handmaid if she's unwell. The woman responds that Nanamo is perfectly well. After gathering what adventurers we can, we take to the Bridge of Faith and help fend off the horde of dragons intent on destroying the city. The battle results in our victory despite the loss of all the wards protecting the Ishgard except one. Estinian swears to hunt down Nidhogg himself. Following the victory, the Alliance leaders decide to host a banquet, and the Scions are invited. As we're speaking with Minfilia, she mentions that despite our victory, the losses weigh heavily. She says that she isn't feeling the cheer that this banquet should have, and that we've barely had time to grieve Mimbrida. There is still no time for it now either, though, as the Scions need to show a united front and remain a beacon of hope to Eorzea. Minfilia leaves a note for her mother and Tataru, and we leave for the banquet. We're shown a scene where Nanamo kneels beside her bed, apologizing to her ancestors for the decision she's about to make, but she feels there's no other option. As we arrive at the Chamber of Rule, we're called to the quicksand. Momodi lets us know that Alien has asked to meet with us privately out in Thanalan. Once we arrive, though, Alien is nowhere to be seen. We do, however, find a strange vial and decide to bring it back with us. After showing it to Momodi, she says it may be best if we hold on to it, and that the Sultana herself has requested a personal audience with us in her chamber. We agree to meet with Nanamo, and she tells us of her plan to dissolve the Sultanate, and makes the same request to us as she did Kane Senna and Merylwib, to help Reborn in the aftermath. As we tell her we will, she drinks from her cup and falls to the ground. Teleji enters with a group of brass blades, accusing us of her murder, and orders the blades to arrest us. Thancred is held up by another group of brass blades, threatening to arrest him, and Alphino is called away from the banquet by one of his braves, only to end up with a sword at his neck. Back at the banquet, Teleji brings his blades in, along with Ishgardian knights, telling Lucia and Emric they must return to Ishgard as there's been yet another attack on the city. Though they can tell something is amiss, they head off and return home. Reborn tells Teleji he's overstepping boundaries again, to which Teleji responds that he at least wasn't feasting while the Sultana was assassinated. The news causes the room to freeze, and as the evil little Lalafell brings us in and accuses us of the assassination, He also proceeds to taunt the general further. Raubahn loses it entirely. He rushes forward and slays Telegiadelegy. Lolorito scolds him and then accuses him of being in league with the Scions to end Nanamo's life. Raubahn turns his blade on Lolorito next, only to be intercepted by Ilberd, who swiftly disarms Raubahn, quite literally, as Raubahn's left arm goes flying across the banquet hall. Ilberd then proceeds to goad him further, accusing Raubahn of abandoning Alamigo and telling him that Ilberd himself is the one that killed the Sultana. This further enrages Raubahn, who proceeds to clash with Ilberd, despite his lack of an arm. He cuts our restraints, tells the Scions to escape and clear our names. The group leaves, meeting up with Thancred in the Chamber of Rule. Though the Scions quickly end up separated in their escape, Papalymo and Ida stay behind in the Chamber of Rule to hold off the Brass Blades and the Crystal Braves, Y'shtola and Thancred staying in the Sildon escape tunnel to do the same, and Minfilia leaving us in the tunnel as well, as Hydaelyn finally speaks to her again. Minfilia tells us that we must go on and escape, that we are the beacon of hope for the world, and that she must remain, as it's the only way. Once out of the escape tunnel, we cross paths with Alphino and General Raubahn's adopted son, Pippin Taurupen. The merchant we first encountered at the very start of our journey in Eorzea also makes an appearance and helps to ferry us safely away to the Blackbrush station, where Cid is awaiting us. The merchant explains Alize, Alphino's twin sister, had caught wind of the trouble brewing and asked him to come and get her brother out of Dodge. Alphino is completely demoralized, having believed he had accomplished so much only to have the rug pulled from beneath his feet. Pippin leaves us at Blackbrush to return and attempt to actively work against the Syndicate, seizing control of Ul'dah. Our small party decides to head to Kurthis, hoping that our friend Haurchefant may have some insight as to where we can go. Upon arrival, Haurchefant gives us his warmest welcome and ensures we are safe from our pursuers. Tataru is thankfully safe as well, and she and Haurchefant both effectively pull Alphino from his despair. The plan is made to enter Ishgard city proper and find refuge while we sort out getting to the bottom of clearing our names. Midgard-Zormr mocks us as we gaze at the city from the Gates of Judgment, saying we will find nothing but death beyond the gate. And that, my dear viewers, is where we are. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and if you've made it this far, then tell me in the comments below what your favorite class is in Final Fantasy, and it can be from any Final Fantasy game. Take care, everyone. Bye!